So we got one more location to go over, the biggest of the bunch. If you hate Louisville, this is the place to go because it's the furthest location from it. In the very far left of the map is a little town called Irvington. Well, it's not really little at all, but the majority of the town is a lot of farmland and residential houses. But some of those farms and houses are actually pretty interesting. First, the three farms of note are the cattle and pig farm on the far right side of town. These two farms have a huge amount of animals, so if you need one, make sure to visit. And on the complete opposite side of town, there's another cattle farm that has a huge amount of space, two water sources, and a nice house to live in. Then we actually have some pretty cool residential houses. First is this one on the top right side of town. This house is actually just really pretty, and I'd probably live here in real life. But on top of that, it's got these two ponds right next to it, and it's far enough from town where zombies won't be a huge deal, so this could be a great base. Next in towards the bottom of town, this line of houses has a basement for each house, and it's mostly walled off so it could make for a neat place to live. And the final interesting house is right above the school. This house is nice because it has a basement that will spawn military loot, and everybody loves military loot, especially since the loot has gotten kinda scarce in this recent update. But let's move on to the actual locations in this town. So we're gonna start on the far left side where we have a shopping center. It has a restaurant and a wedding store with a sports store right next to it. So if your wedding's at 2 but the soccer game's at 3, you can get geared up for both. Now moving on, we have a tax building, ew, next to another restaurant, a comic book store, and a very nice gun store with amazing loot. However, I am sorry to say you do need a sledgehammer to get in here, even the back door is blocked off. Across the street is a restaurant and supermarket, with a construction zone right above that that's completely walled off, so it maybe could be a base. Now let's start to move towards the center of town. First, this public pool could be another base location due to it being completely fenced off and it having a water source. And below there is a Spiffos, then just a bit down the road you'll find a hardware store that does have roof access, and even further down the road you'll get to a supermarket. Now we've gotten to the center of town where a majority of the points of interest are, so let's go through them. First we got a VHS store connected to a gas station, again with roof access. Next to that is a metal workshop and car dealership with not a lot of cars. Either business was really bad or really good, I'm not sure which. Next to that a laundromat and post office. Down the road a little bit is a bar, my personal favorite location in any town. Then going back up the street is a restaurant, grocery store, pharmacy, and diner, all connected to each other. Across the street is another gas station that is connected to a liquor store. I'm starting to really like this town. And if you pick the smoker trait, I heavily recommend you visit the smoke shop right beside the liquor store. And also in the heart of town is a school, and this school has caught my interest for one specific reason. This globe is really, really cool. But before we move on to the last interesting area of town, there are a few interesting locations on the outskirts of town I want to mention. First, way down the road is a food factory and a warehouse, right across the street is an abandoned car lot, and then one of my favorite locations in this town is the shooting range at the far north side of town. And you should already know by now I do love my fenced off locations, and this is one of them. So again, maybe a possible base. So the rest of the POIs in this town are along this main road here, so let's check it out. We start off a farming supply store and a church right above that. Further up the road is a town hall next to a fire station, next to a car shop, and across the street is a furniture store and clothing store. Up the road is a bank, police station, and storage unit, with a gas station above that. Also, this little area here for some reason has the majority of the town's zombie population. Just driving through this area is almost impossible, so make sure not to come here unless you're prepared. And now the final location is a doctor's office above the bank. Now I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the locations here were not marked on the Build 42 map, so I tried to be as thorough as possible, but there's still a chance I missed some interesting locations, so let me know in the comments if I did. And oh wow, like this massive racetrack at the north side of town. I just zoomed out and saw that, I cannot believe I almost missed that. But anyways, that's Irvington. A pretty large town with a lot of cool locations to loot, and interesting places to make a home. I usually mention something about the zombie population of the town, but with the new zombie distribution, pretty much every town just has a shit ton of zombies now, so it doesn't even really matter. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one.